Shut the fuck up. I know that I put Deus Ex and not Deus Ex in the fucking thumbnail. Uh, d- I'm not changing it. I am just not changing it. I think it gives the thumbnail fucking personality. And I'm already in Windows Movie Maker recording my narration. Yeah, Windows fucking Movie Maker. Yeah, that's the level I'm at. But yeah, no, I'm not fucking changing it. I know it's there though. But anyways, so it's console watch, and I really wanted to talk about a really awesome game I've been playing on console. I got about over 20 hours in it so far, and that is Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, or as I call it, Deus Ex: Too Fucking Close to Home, or as you might read it, Deus Ex: Too Fucking Close to Home. Um, and that's because quick thing on the story. If you played the Deus Ex games, then you kind of know what's up. If not, there's like a 5 minute kind of recap that I mean, it, I guess tells you everything you need to know to catch up on the universe, but all the shit that they really mentioned and showed in that really stupidly detailed recap really hasn't even come up in the story, or at least, I wasn't paying enough attention to the recap to appreciate it. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like it doesn't feel like I'm lost at all in the campaign. But then again, I am fucking playing mostly side missions right now. I've only done a couple of the main story missions, and that's one of the best things about this game, dude, are the side missions. Oh, they're so fun, dude. At least for me, the ones I've done so far, I mean, they're layered. They require you to have, maybe certain tools or augmentations, on your character that, there's a lot of character development and play your way. I mean, when it comes to combat, I'm not gonna lie, the combat isn't the greatest. The combat is the engine for the combat is not the greatest. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it could have been done better. Maybe it's smoother on a mouse and keyboard. Um, but that's one thing that I think could have used more polish. But then again, this game is supposed to be played stealthily. Like they don't explicitly say it, but they really want you to play the game stealthily. In fact, you get your ass chewed out. I got my ass chewed out because shit hit the fan and I started killing cops on a mission. I got my ass chewed out by the game. But anyways, to simplify things, you can never have played a Deus Ex game, and you can get this game, and you will be fine. For the most part, I don't know if anything crazy happens later on in the game. Like I said, I'm only about 22 hours in, and then most of it's been side content I've been doing. A lot of side content and just straight up breaking and entering into people's cribs. But yeah, no, you can pick this up as like a standalone type of deal. You won't be disappointed, even if after that initial 20 hours, then something happens and you're just like, what the fuck? Because, you still had 20 hours of, okay, yeah, this is making some sense. But anyways, what I really wanted to talk about was, dude, this game hits too fucking close to home, man. I have literally unnecessarily, uh, not I have decommissioned quite a few of the in-game police officers. You see, the setting of the game is primarily in Prague, and you can take a train to different places in Prague, or near Prague, or whatever it may be. But basically, there was a huge incident, and there's a big kind of it's a Trayvon Martin type situation that well, except like the well, not really the opposite. I don't know. All right, people with augmentations, these artificial limbs or whatever, kind of got hacked or malfunctioned, whatever it may be in the previous game, and killed a bunch of people, normal humans, just caused a lot of chaos, and now in the aftermath of that, non-augmented humans are extremely prejudiced against augmented humans, and it's they're treated like second class citizens. It's crazy. And you'd think, with all these crazy augments that, the augmented humans would just be like, "You- it's what the fuck you thought, dude. I will crush your skull with my penis that I had augmented." But anyways, I don't know. Maybe you had to play a previous game or maybe you had to just pay more attention. I don't know. That's one thing I will say. You would see the way I'm getting off track. My attention span ain't the greatest. That's one thing I will say. Going to the dialogue real quick. The dialogue trees are relatively simple. Though, you can, depending on, what the mission is, and if you complete certain secondary objectives or whatever, you can unlock additional dialogue. And there is also an augmentation to kind of help you also unlock additional options and ways to bypass missions without having to do anything. It's kind of like Charisma and Fallout, except you have to do a little bit more reading into the person's personality. But yeah, the dialogue trees aren't super complicated. They're not like Mass Effect level. I don't remember Fallout 4 that well, but I'm pretty sure it had fairly powerful dialogue trees. But this one, there's enough content, dude, where, there's so much different dialogue and so many different trees that it doesn't matter that they're relatively short at times, or the majority of the time. But anyways, okay, back to the fucking the plot. Yeah, so augmented humans with these prosthetics are treated like second class citizens, or at least over in Prague, they're called clanks. Literally, I mean, they straight up have like pretty much separate water fountains for like what they call naturals, which are beings without the artificial augmentations, and then they have they're called augs, the people that have the augmentations. And there's literally, on the train, there's a checkpoint for the augs, and they have to go on their own train, their own line. I remember I went onto the train for the naturals for the normal humans just to see what would happen, because the protagonist you play as, he is augmented heavily, and but the thing is, he's augmented heavily, but every time someone asks for his papers or something, because, they require all these augmented humans to have all these crazy documents and shit, he always has them because, he works for fucking Interpol, and so he's got ridiculous clearance, and it's just really funny, when you'll walk through a natural or a human kind of security checkpoint, they'll stop you. So I was like, yeah, let me take the train and the human train, and then um, let me say that the game flows very smoothly. Once it loads up, when you boot up the game, it flows very smoothly. The transitions are very smooth from city to city. When you get on a train to go to a different city, the loading screen is actually you on the train. When I took the human train, there was a mother and her child just sitting there looking at me like I was an asshole, and I was like, yes, this is so perfect. This is hilarious. Um, and also, I mean, besides that, I haven't really experienced many frame rate issues or anything like that. I mean, uh, and to be honest, I'm not like the frame rates per second guy. I don't know really much about how to tell just with my eyes alone how many frames per second a game's running at, but this one seems to run like at a steady. I guess I know it's not 60, but the other standard's what, like 30 usually or something like that. The game runs smoothly. The game runs smoothly, with very little hiccups, for a game that's, so big. Uh, and I think the way they do that is by keeping these different areas are of pretty big size, large size, lots of different places for you to go, lots of different missions, but they're able to avoid loading, in between going into a building or even in between like cutscenes by making these areas just big enough, but not so ridiculously huge that, there's tons of just frame rate dropping and stuff like that. The world feels relatively alive around you. You spend a lot of your time kind of free roaming, when you're not doing a normal mission, that is structured. You spend a lot of your time free roaming around Prague, seeing all these fucked up things happen to augmented people. And holy shit, I got off track of the fucking train story. Hang on, let me get back to that. So I get off the fucking train, the human train, the natural train, and I walk up the stairs and I get stopped by a fucking cop at a security checkpoint. And he's like, "The fuck you doing on this train, son? Let me see your papers." And it's actually a chick, and I show her the guy shows him the papers, just like, this is getting really old, because I mean, every time you do it, they ask for your fucking papers. But this bitch insulted me personally. Like, she was literally just like, "Get the hell out of here, you piece." She was salty that I had the proper documentation and that I outranked her. And she said some very degrading things, and I proceeded to put her out of commission. I didn't kill her, but I did punch her in the nose and in the neck, and then I think did a DDT on her or something like that. And that's only one example. I have punched so many fucking cops because this game hits way too fucking close to home, man. With like, I mean, with the whole, Black Lives Matter thing going on, racial tensions. This kind of addresses like an extreme version of like racial tensions like that, except, without making it about race, it's about robotics, I guess. But dude, it's like holy shit, man. It's Deus Ex too fucking close to home. What the fuck? Like I was literally feeling personally insulted, like when the cops were like seeing the cops brutalize these augmented people on the streets and all this and that. And I mean, not all the the natural humans are dicks because in the games prior to this, I guess augmented humans were actually accepted, and it was actually a very good scientific breakthrough and marvel, and it was great, and it was great to have augmentations that could better your life until this fucking accident had happened. But anyways, no, yeah. So anyways, I'm really enjoying this fucking game. 20 hours in, and I don't know about the PS4, but on console, on Xbox One, I'll just clarify, it's the Xbox One S. I don't know if that makes a huge difference, but well, it's got the 4K. I don't know. It looks really great. The frame rate is steady. It's not, 60 frames, but the frame rate is steady. Very little choppiness. Even when there are, combat sequences, it still remains pretty steady. I haven't really seen any pop in or anything like that. Um, and the game just seems really, really polished, especially the side missions, the world. The world can feel a little empty or dead at times. But then you'll get into a side mission and all of a sudden you'll feel like everything's alive again and it's all awesome. But yeah, dude, this is a pretty polished ass game. I mean, look at this slick motherfucker. He kind of looks like my dad, to be honest. And yeah, no, if you have an Xbox One, I mean, I'm not saying not to get it if you have a PC or PS4. I'm just saying my experience on Xbox One with it, 22 hours in, and I'm probably not even scratching the surface of the main game yet. It has been really good. I haven't had any crashes. I haven't had any extensive loading times. I mean, I haven't even had parts where you're just in a city walking and the game just stops for about a second, straight up just stops to low key load. That hasn't happened to me at all. And considering the size and the graphics and everything, it's a very polished game. And you should go ahead and suck it off when you're not sucking off Overwatch. But I have punched so many fucking cops, dude. This game will make you feel some feels, man. Oh my God, this game's too fucking close to home. Jesus Christ.